Explore Pluteus romellii, commonly known as the yellow shield, a distinctive wood-inhabiting mushroom belonging to the Pluteaceae family. This saprotrophic species fruits from late spring through autumn, growing on decaying hardwood logs, stumps, and buried wood. Easily recognized by its brown to olive-brown cap, bright yellow stem, and free pinkish gills that produce a pink spore print, Pluteus romellii is one of the more attractive members of the genus. Pluteus romellii is considered an edible mushroom, although it is not widely collected for culinary use. Its relatively small size, infrequent occurrence and resemblance to other Pluteus species mean that it is more commonly appreciated by mycologists and mushroom enthusiasts than by foragers seeking choice edible mushrooms. The flesh is thin, soft, and pale yellowish to whitish, remaining unchanged when cut or bruised. It has a mild taste and a faint, pleasant mushroom odor without any distinctive or bitter characteristics. Because the flesh is rather delicate, the mushroom offers only a modest culinary experience compared to more highly prized woodland species. Young fresh specimens are generally preferred if collected for the table, while older fruit bodies often become fragile, waterlogged, or affected by insects. However, due to the high risk of confusing small wood-growing mushrooms with dangerously toxic species, foraging this mushroom for consumption is generally discouraged for beginners. In the kitchen, Pluteus romellii can be sautéed, fried, or added to mixed mushroom dishes, soups, and sauces. Its mild flavor blends well with butter, garlic, herbs, and other woodland mushrooms, although it is rarely used as the main ingredient due to its limited flesh and subtle taste. It is generally best enjoyed fresh rather than dried, as dehydration offers little improvement in flavor or texture. Before cooking, the mushrooms should be cleaned gently to remove soil and fragments of wood. Although edible, Pluteus romellii is valued primarily for its distinctive appearance and ecological role rather than its culinary qualities. Pluteus romellii is a distinctive member of the Pluteus genus, best recognized by the striking contrast between its brown cap and bright yellow stem. The cap typically measures 2 to 7 centimeters in diameter, starting convex before expanding to a broadly convex or nearly flat shape, sometimes with a slight central bump. Its smooth surface varies from yellow-brown and olive-brown to dark brown, often appearing slightly darker in the center. The gills are free from the stem, beginning white before gradually turning pink as the spores mature. They are fairly crowded, with numerous shorter gills of varying lengths, and their changing color is one of the most useful field characters of the genus. The stem is slender, usually 3 to 8 centimeters long and 3 to 8 millimeters thick, cylindrical and notably bright yellow over most or all of its length. In some specimens, the base may show slightly darker or brownish tones, but there is never a ring or vulva. The flesh is relatively thin and pale yellowish to whitish, remaining unchanged when cut or bruised. It has no distinctive latex, staining reaction, or color change, while the odor and taste are generally mild and inconspicuous. The combination of a smooth brown cap, vivid yellow stem, free pink gills at maturity, pink spore print, and its habit of growing directly on decaying hardwood makes Pluteus romellii one of the easier yellow-stemmed shield mushrooms to recognize in the field. Pluteus romellii is a saprotrophic mushroom that obtains its nutrients by breaking down dead wood. Through this process, it contributes to the natural recycling of organic matter, helping return nutrients to the forest ecosystem as fallen trees and branches decompose. It is most frequently encountered on well-decayed hardwood logs, stumps, buried wood, and large fallen branches. Beech, oak, birch, and other broadleaf trees are among its preferred substrates, while records from coniferous wood are uncommon. This species favors humid woodland environments where decomposing timber remains moist for extended periods. It is often found in mature deciduous forests, mixed woodlands, shaded parks, and old woodland edges, particularly after periods of sustained rainfall. Fruiting bodies usually develop singly or in small scattered groups rather than forming dense clusters. Pluteus romellii is widely distributed across Europe and has also been recorded in parts of Asia and North America, although it is generally considered an infrequent species and is encountered far less often than many other members of the Pluteus genus. Pluteus romellii most commonly produces fruiting bodies from late spring until autumn, with peak fruiting often occurring during summer and early autumn when warm weather coincides with adequate moisture. The exact fruiting period varies depending on regional climate and annual rainfall. The species develops most successfully at moderate temperatures, generally between 15 degrees Celsius and 25 degrees Celsius. Warm conditions combined with increased humidity create ideal circumstances for new mushrooms to emerge from well-decayed wood. Unlike soil-dwelling mushrooms, Pluteus romellii depends heavily on the moisture retained within its woody substrate. Prolonged drought can delay or suppress fruiting, while rainfall that thoroughly moistens fallen logs and stumps often stimulates the appearance of fresh specimens within a few days. It is most frequently encountered in shaded locations with good air humidity, where decaying hardwood remains damp but not permanently waterlogged. Mature forests with an abundance of decomposing timber provide the most favorable conditions for this species to complete its life cycle. Pluteus romellii has a nutritional composition typical of many wild mushrooms, containing a mixture of water, dietary fiber, proteins, and naturally occurring minerals. Although it is not considered a highly sought-after edible species, it still provides valuable nutrients. The mushroom contains plant-based proteins along with various amino acids that support its nutritional profile. Like other mushrooms, it also contains B-group vitamins, which are involved in important biological processes such as energy metabolism and the maintenance of normal cellular functions. Mineral content includes elements such as potassium, phosphorus, and smaller amounts of trace minerals, which are naturally accumulated from the wood substrate on which the species grows. Its low fat content and absence of cholesterol make it a lightweight food option when consumed. Because Pluteus romellii has a thin and delicate structure, its nutritional contribution is generally limited compared with larger, fleshier edible mushrooms. Nevertheless, it represents another example of how wild mushrooms can provide a combination of nutrients while also contributing to the diversity of seasonal forest foods. One of the most frequent mistakes when identifying Pluteus romellii is confusing it with other small brown-capped woodland mushrooms that grow on decaying wood. Several species from different genera can share a similar appearance, especially when the characteristic yellow stem is not immediately noticed. Another common error is overlooking the importance of substrate. Because Pluteus romellii often grows from buried or heavily decomposed wood, it may appear to be a soil-growing mushroom. Failing to examine the surrounding material can lead to confusion with unrelated ground-dwelling species. Cap color alone should not be considered a reliable identification feature. The brown to olive-brown shades of Pluteus romellii can change depending on age, humidity, and lighting conditions, making some specimens appear much darker or paler than expected. A crucial feature to observe is the combination of a smooth brown cap with a distinctly yellow stem and free gills that become pinkish as the spores mature. Missing the gill attachment or collecting very young specimens before the spore color develops can make identification more difficult. Older fruiting bodies may also create uncertainty, as the stem color can fade and the cap may become weathered or damaged. For accurate identification, several characteristics should always be considered together, including the growing substrate, cap appearance, stem color, gill structure, and spore print color. As we finish exploring Pluteus romellii, the yellow shield, we've uncovered the unique features that make this small woodland mushroom a fascinating part of forest ecosystems. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more mushroom discoveries and identification guides. Whatever mushroom we discover next, we'll continue observing carefully, learning from nature, and uncovering the details one species at a time.